Okay, so hopefully this is my final take on the flying saucer video. Uh, get this done really quickly. So, in order to explain the flying saucer, I think it's best that I explain my past 10 years, the past 10 years of my life, which is like fits in someone else's 10-year budget and thinking. Just very clearly just nests in just a 10-year budget. Uh, and so it starts with football. Football is like I quit football because I didn't want to play for that team. Uh, I didn't want to play for this guy who fights for personal battles on the field, and I don't want to play for this guy who protects that. And the whole thing is just like I got my helmet messed with. I got the like whatever, just like face mask and like just like choked, face mask choked with a broken helmet, like 3 times in a row, and I freaking threw my helmet at probably the person that needed it 3 times in a row, and I got yelled at 3 times in a row. I just so many reasons that like I just decided not to play for that team, and it's like whatever you want to say about it is that's the truth. I didn't want to play for that team, but that very month, that very same month, is that I meet Diamond. I meet Diamond, and Diamond is this thing that she starts this thing, and it scares the absolute life out of me, death out of me. Uh, and to this very day she's a standing weapon. She's literally like a little wizard, like in a little corner of like reality. She's like a little wizard in the corner of reality, but instead of being a wizard, she's just a liar. And she set up this scam and this prank, and to this very day is like you can kind of tell that it's this prank and this scam that it's like I just had nothing to do with it. The only thing I do is I expose it, and I say, if you want to if you want to know more about the scam and the prank and stuff, is that you can talk to, you can talk to Swider, Selby, and Adam Mossbrucker. Talk to Swider, Selby, and Adam. But then just to keep going is like just so like that was all 2010 within like a month's frame, honestly. Within like certainly one season's frame is like all that stuff happened. And then in 2014, I get thrown through this family blender, and it seems like it's like this crazy incest blender. But I get thrown in this blender, and it seems like it's just like to be a bully. And I ask about it, and you can't tell me anything that makes sense about it whatsoever. And everybody's on the sketchy side about it. Nobody can say anything. Nobody. It's like they don't want to say anything. Like when they're asked to report or comment, nobody wants to say anything. It's so sketchy. And then after that is the peanut gallery, and then it's the same very people that just spit me out of a blender. Here they come right out here in a peanut gallery. They've been here since 2012. And then to explain 2012 is like I mean, I noticed Swider. I noticed that eyeballs are watching me. I noticed that eyeballs are watching me. I noticed that Swider is watching me. People are watching me. It seems like Nick Jonas is watching me. People are watching me. And I turn around and I say, potluck. Potluck, potluck, potluck. We got to do a potluck dinner. Potluck, 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 potluck. These are dark secrets and all this stuff. We got to get a potluck dinner. We have to get stuff in the light. Potluck dinner. Potluck, potluck, potluck. And then next thing I know, I look at the Ancient Aliens conspiracy, World War II, Mickey, all this stuff, the CIA, the NSA, all this stuff. I see that all this stuff is connected, and they're looking for aliens. More about that later, but just like I noticed that the flying saucer in the conspiracies is related to Nazis and 9/11 and just about everything in Ancient Aliens. These potluck flying saucers. And all it took was just that, like, all it took for me, it was as smooth as butter. And then this is kind of like, everything is so easy for me. Explaining stuff is easy for me. Like, understanding stuff is, like, easy for me now. Understanding stuff is easy. And all this stuff, and then, you want to wonder, is like, how do I know that it's Truman, and how do I know about the Truman Show and this Truman Man God? Uh, how do I know it's all this stuff? Well, I mean, the vagina portal is very clearly Maggie, and what she's doing and why she's doing it, unclear. But that it is her, very clear. I can tell that it is her. I cannot tell what she's doing and why she's doing it. That's not good. That's not good. That's bad. There's really no really reason for that. So just explaining my 2010 to 2020 is like it starts with football. It starts with me getting bullied off the team. I didn't want to play for that team. And I didn't want to play for that team because of Tyler and Truman, Tyler and Swider. I don't want to play for that team because of Tyler and Swider. Tyler for his extra cheating ass, just bullshit on the field. Bringing his personal battles into the thing and all that stuff. And I don't know anything about it. That's ridiculous. I don't want to play for that team. And Swider's going to protect him. I don't want to play for that team. Then that very month, then I get this thing, and it's like time travel. You got to do time travel now. And it's like, I mean, I consider it to this day like PTSD. Like, I mean, it's like post-traumatic stress. It's like, all I know is that someone really wanted me to start working on time travel. And wanted to control my story, wanted to control my ego, wanted to control my reputation. And then how do I notice this? Because, well, I mean, I get spit out of this Maggie Blender, which is the rudest thing I've ever seen. That she won't talk to people, or she's the rudest person I've ever met, pretty much. Like, besides these people up in Bria, she's just as rude. She's ruder. And then this peanut gallery of people and all this stuff. I have all this stuff, and there's all these people that are here paying attention to all this stuff. It would be going smoothly. We would just be working together in a circle table. Why are we not working together on a circle table? Especially if you want my information, if you actually want to actually know what I think about stuff, why aren't we just working on a circle table? And why do I have a vagina portal and this stuff? And she's doing it 24/7. No matter how like many times I say 1 Corinthians 2:11, she's gonna do that vagina portal every day. And then all of a sudden, like, you gotta want, like, ultimately it's just like it's the record of Pinocchio. It's that, like, it's really 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 hard to solve a conspiracy by lying. It's really, really, really hard. It's like it's like another one of those things like the Gospels, but it's just like this one is like this is about like solving a conspiracy and connecting dots. It's like connecting dots. It's about how, like, some of the ancient alien stuff that you really do have to wonder is like the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is itself. I mean, it is honestly kind of weird. It's just kind of weird that the Great Pyramid sits in this like logical spot, and that like its latitude and longitude shares the speed of light, and that it like uses light energy and all this stuff, and it's like perfectly perpendicular to different things, and it's like equilaterally. It's just like this like very strategic spot that you would think that like not very many people would have actually thought of strategy back at that time. You think that it's strategy like that, and then even findings like that the speed of that the longitude latitude spot next to the equator like mimics the speed of light. But that this particular spot is like the exact speed of light. Exactly the speed of light. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, all that stuff that these guys are. When you find a bunch of stuff together and someone can connect a bunch of dots, you have to wonder if he was crazy. You have to wonder if he was lying. And part of this thing I'm saying is like this vagina portal that does it. So to think that that's anything but a Truman T-bone, that's a Truman T-bone. I got everybody's fingerprints and all this stuff, and Truman's just sitting there watching everybody. Like, that's another thing that is every day that we go forward with this. It's another day that Truman is just sitting there watching his stuff just go up into a bunch of flames. He sits there every day and he watches his stuff go up into a bunch of flames every day, and he's trying to bring people into the fire and like get people to burn with it. He's just like Satan, and he's trying to watch it go up in flames every day. He's just sitting there trying to watch it go up in flames every day. It's amazing. So let me just finish explaining the flying saucer. I find everything in stride. Football, then the Diamond PTSD, time travel PTSD, and then the Maggie Blender, and then the peanut gallery. That on my day, every day of stalkers, of spies, the spy peanut gallery. And I just say potluck, 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 potluck against dark secrecy. Next thing I know, I look up, I look up ancient aliens. I look up these things about like actually flying, actually like interesting technology that you haven't really seen. And there's this whole conspiracy about this stuff, and that there are people. I've seen it, and then that's the thing is I've seen it. I know people that have seen it, and nobody has seen it. I know like one person that's seen it, and I've seen it, and then these people during World War II recorded it, seeing it. But it takes prisoners. That's like an interesting thing. It takes prisoners, so you can't really tell that that like it's been doing actually like a ton of work actually every day. And the Bermuda Triangle, all that stuff. Bermuda Triangle is probably this zone that is protecting like a base or something, and you just know that it is, and it's freaking crazy. It's just kind of crazy. Bermuda Triangle and the flying saucers probably. But basically, it's, I find everything in stride, and then I've been trying to I dabble with thinking about the perfect universe, and you know what? The perfect universe is this perfect universe that has basically these two things that I've also found. It's not that I'm not. It's not that I've like I try to figure out these things and I look for them. Is that they're right here. Phantoms and flying saucers will make a perfect universe. Phantoms and flying saucers will make a perfect universe. If there's like 4 problems in the world, there's one is like government and like military and safety, and then 2 is health, 3 is money, and 4 is sex. If you can get your hand on top of all 4 of those problems, you can control the universe. But those are the 4 biggest problems ever. And the Phantoms fixes them all. And especially sex. And flying saucers does too, but with time. It gives you all time to do all this stuff. And Phantoms just gives you this stuff. It gives you intangibility, it gives you shapeshifting, it gives you strength. Phantoms and flying saucers, and I've seen them both. And then this whole thing, like I said, 2010 football and Diamond, and then the next thing is kind of this like Maggie Blender, where their family kind of chews me up, like spins me around and spits me out really quick, and I can't talk to anybody ever since. But then there's this whole other thing that 2012 I noticed that Swider, and then I noticed that Swider started following me around. He spoke to me actually on a couple occasions, and one of the occasions it seems like it might not be. It really might not be. But this thing, it was a phantom. And it talks to me and it says, Eric, this is Mike Swider. I want you to go yada, yada, yada. Something that it was pretty gross. You wouldn't ask anybody to do that. And I did it. But I was possessed. And I was possessed and given super strength, and then my body and my mind and all this stuff. My body was possessed, and I was given like the ability to see through my world into my body, that it had strength that I didn't give it. I was even able to make decisions with my mind. It's kind of confusing, but it's just this whole thing is like that's Phantoms and time travel, Phantoms and flying saucers, Phantoms and time travel. There is no way for a Christian that gets that torqued up like that, and then the possession. Christians don't get possessed, and that's good. So I found all this stuff in stride. Is that 2012? I already saw the Phantoms. I already started thinking about the perfect universe, and the Phantoms helped me and stuff like that. The Phantoms at that point is like it was probably me that just did it all by myself. And if you don't think that, then you're thinking that it was Swider being gross. He probably needs the 390 years jail for that. And then now it's Phantoms, and then that's mine. Jake Van Gils to see the Phantoms, but he doesn't give himself the credit. He gives me the credit for doing Phantoms. And then flying saucers, that this stuff is just in ancient aliens. This stuff is all over the place. If you look at World War II, these things were first noticed in World War II in these cigar-shaped planes, just like Puma Punku, then the ancient alien stuff in Puma Punku in the planes. In World War II, people saw this stuff. The next thing you know, CIA and the NSA are created to try to figure out what it was and to try to make contact with it, try to figure out where that stuff is at and what it's doing. So Area 51 might not honestly have flying saucers, but Bermuda Triangle might. That'd be like better. But yeah, there are no other witnesses but me. I'm like the only guy that can tell you this stuff. Honestly, I'm like the only guy that can tell you this stuff. So it's like Halloween 2012, I became really powerful. I was chased and harassed by this diamond weapon. From 2004, I was spit out by the Cole Maggie's family in 2014, and then ever since then, the same exact people, and then this new Pranger guy too, are all chasing me around. You know, like trying to control me and tell me what to do and all this stuff. Like, and I'm guessing it's with the CIA power, and just like what you hear on the news, like what you'll hear in the hearsay, is that the CIA is doing mind control stuff, and these guys just thinking that they can do mind control stuff. I don't really understand. And it ends with the vagina portal. It's just ridiculous. It's just such a weird thing. It ends with this vagina portal. It just seems like it's just a bunch of dipshits that need to get their ass kicked with prison. But yeah, I'm screaming Potluck at these guys. Potluck. Next thing I know, I find a flying saucer. I find flying saucer conspiracy. I was working on time. You guys were forcing me to do time travel. I'm yelling at you guys saying Potluck. Next thing I know, I find the flying saucer. So it's just not even surprising at all to me to find the flying saucer whatsoever. And the Potluck will help us against our post 9/11 problems, like the fact that we feel like we're being infiltrated all the time, but we have an NSA that's like looking at kids' Xboxes and stuff. It's like a little bit much. It's really a post World War I, World War II communism problem. That we fear so much stuff. And then if you honestly look up more stuff, like there is more stuff about these flying saucers, like these early rocks from early creation that were like super hot, like at the time, like even looking at like how this carving was made at the time that it was. It's like these insane feats of science and power done by these flying saucers, and then they leave a little flying saucer mark on these like really hot early Earth rock. It's like, I mean, really hot, really early Earth rock, just like really, really. And then I even believe in 6-day creation, which means that it literally went to like a micro point of time, like within like, I mean, I guess technically it would have been like a series of, you know, maybe anything from like 1 to 60 seconds. 1 to 60 seconds on any of the days where God makes this stuff, but it's like instead of it actually like itself, you know, instead of it being like kind of confusing and stuff, it's like no, it took 24 hours for this to be created and dried, pretty much. So yeah, it just wasn't going to take anything less than 6 actual revolutions of the Earth days to make the stuff, to make pretty much most of this, the Earth and pretty much everything in it, like 6 days, like. But like I think the flying saucer can go back to like, you know, maybe like a microsecond or something, like some like small microsecond. But yeah, so that's my flying saucer video. That's it, pretty much in a nutshell. It's about this thing. It's football, diamond, and then, you know, football, diamond, and then like basically like phantom possession / harassment, and then the Maggie Blender, and then the spy peanut gallery, and then my Potluck response, and then the pussy, and then honestly the vagina portal, which is like, I mean, that's just like a T-bone. That's like all of your stuff getting T-bone right there. And then here's his T-bone Truman special. And he's like, and then every single way that you know is like, if I was talking about, if any of that was like anywhere close to anything, that there's always somebody right now just sitting there watching, waiting for his stuff to burn. And like Truman's actually like out here trying to get it to burn. at this point. He's like trying to get it to burn because I think it's because he was just so deep in so many people's business. That he is like this Cold War king princess. He's this stinky crap that just gets farted out. And it's just easy for me to explain stuff, dude. It becomes so easy for me to explain stuff all day long with stuff. It's just so easy for me to do stuff and explain stuff. It's ridiculous. And like how I find everything is tried. I found the phantoms. I've seen the phantoms. I've seen the flying saucers. I've seen these things. And these things connect to not just the conspiracies, but like not just the conspiracies of things that you've heard people say, but literally to findings, evidence that connects, like say like a plane. These people think that it's like ancient spacecraft. Yeah, that's an airplane. That's like a 21st century 747 Boeing. What is so confusing about that? And then it connects to this thing with a cross and twin towers on. It's like that is about our 9/11. Puma Punku is all about our 9/11. So that was really good. Like I got all that in like 20 minutes. That all that stuff is about our 9/11, and then it's like we have this Discovery Channel that's out here like being freaking stupid about it. I don't really even get it. And then honestly, if you I told you that stuff. So my potluck was gonna help with not hurt. My potluck was gonna help with so much stuff. If you're not helping with the potluck, you're hurting. And then the potluck was gonna be against dark secrecy and all that stuff. If you're not helping with the potluck, you're hurting. It was gonna be the potluck Mars beginning, with the flying saucers, and bringing everybody back for a bonus life with the Mars beginning. And then all those people are gonna fight for my army, and they just gave them a bonus life. So if you're not about the bonus potluck Mars beginnings, you're out, dude, and you're a red pill, and then I'm gonna get you for a 390 years prison sentence, prophesied in Ezekiel. The whole reason I know it's Ezekiel and me is the same exact reason that I know that I'm pretty much Captain Planet is like, or whatever, is that like with my time travel I can help lead the Jews to Christ. And that's what Ezekiel is all about. It's just like God's precious woman of a nation that he brings in because of me and the time travel and the combination of me, time travel, and Ezekiel and time and God, that he brings his precious bride home, Israel, and for everything that he promised them, just like the little bitty tiny Israel, and God promised them all this stuff, and it's so fantastic, and I help them get what they deserve. I hope they get what they deserve. You wonder, like, what in the world happens when freaking God's people get God's stuff that they've been promised for a long time. Honestly, if you've never thought that, you're missing out. If you've never thought that, you're missing out. What in the world happens when God's people get God's promised stuff? Well, we'll see very soon. So I got all the notes in the description. Yeah, just watch out. This was my, epic video here. Flying saucers and the potluck. So that's where I say, peace, bone, potluck, and MAGA. And Maggie's still doing vagina portal. It needs to stop.